righty. Josh? I've got that all right from Ben, by the way. All right.
Yeah,
I've taken that from him.
Okay.
All right. Feel good factor? Do you feel it's back?
Yeah, I'd say the performance isn't perfect. We're not exactly completely convincing, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I think this is something we can build on.
Is there a Conte effect? Do you think that's what it is? Or do you think we just got maybe slightly more forgiving fixtures at the moment?
This doesn't feel like a new manager bounce. If you remember when Mourinho came in and we just started winning games, I know like 3-2 and just attacking and all sorts of stuff like that. This doesn't feel like that. This feels like he doesn't want to just win games on momentum. He wants them to win his way of playing.
Yeah.
So I think the Conte effect will take a while to come into effect.
Into effect. Yeah, but are you liking what you're seeing anyway at the moment?
Yeah, I think we look much better defensively. I still think we're missing that midfield link, and I still think that Kane isn't quite there.
Let's talk about that midfield link, because it's almost as if these players, they get on the ball and they're not ballers, are they? They can't really pick out a pass. They can pick out a short pass.
These players, John, or do you want to name them?
Well, we can maybe leave that for the people coming on to talk about, because I know you've got a lot to say about Pierre, haven't you? I'll tell you what, let's bring Matt on and then we can go from there. I haven't spoken to Matt for a while.
Yes,
Matty Hayes, how you doing, mate?
Hey guys, I can't hear you at all. I don't know.
He's very quiet.
If
He
it's just
can't
me.
hear us.
Can you hear
can't
him?
you.
Can we
I
crank?
can hear him,
up,
but can
Vinny?
no, but he can't hear us. 1 second, Matt.
You can't hear us, Matt?
I can hear you now, I think.
Can you hear him?
No.
Right, I can't turn it up. You have to turn up your TV.
We have to turn up the TV.
Oh, right.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It's on 100. Can't go much higher than that.
Matt, do you mind speaking again?
No, he's not. Matt, we'll get you back on in a sec, all right?
Okay.
We'll get you back on a sec. We're going to have a little... Vinny, it's on 100. I can't get the volume any more than that. But, yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully this isn't going to be a car crash of a fan show. All right, Matt, second time. How you doing? No, he can't hear us.
I don't
he
think...
can't hear us.
Chat, can you hear us?
We can hear.
they can hear.
So they can hear. Everyone can hear apart from Matt, the one that you actually want to be able to speak to. How frustrating. Okay. Oh, here we go. Something happened. Something happened. I can hear him now.
No, he said he can't hear us.
He still can't hear you.
Okay.
He can't hear
All right.
All
All right. Never mind.
All right, we'll try to get you back on.
Very
Matt.
Spursy there. Very, very Spursy. Let's talk, Josh. Let's fill this awkward interlude.
Yeah. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's not been too convincing, but something to shout about, you know.
Yeah.
Win at home. I think Brentford have been a tough team for a lot of teams.
Yeah, they didn't look good today, I have to say. I thought they made us look good because they weren't there was no real quality on the ball from them, was there?
No.
There was a lot of huff and puff, but there was really nothing. Oh, I can hear.
I can hear the background
Brian,
now.
pipe down, Brian. You're not on yet, mate.
Chill out, Brian.
Brian's singing in the background here. Yeah, they weren't the best, were they? And it kind of made for kind of almost like an easy afternoon in a way.
Agreed. Yeah.
Afternoon, evening, yeah.
But, you know, maybe this team deserves a couple of easy afternoons after the chop and change and what they've been through and stuff like that. So let's see.
Yeah. We're queuing up. We're
still
queuing up the next
okay.
one. So let's talk about COYS then, because I know you've got a little bit of a bee in your bonnet.
That?
Yeah, with him. Is this... I mean, when did you start noticing this? At the beginning of this season? Or because I know you've got a bit of an issue with him at the moment. I think he's been poor the last few games. I don't think he's been brilliant the whole of this season, but I don't think he's been dreadful the whole season. But you think he has?
Look, he has a lot of qualities. I'll start off by praising him.
Okay.
He has a lot of qualities.
Give the shit sandwich, you know.
Yeah,
Slice of bread.
Exactly. Yeah.
Third slice of bread. Yeah. Finish on a high.
Yeah. So the first slice.
Yeah.
He has a lot of qualities that our squad has been lacking for years, which is he's not anonymous in the middle. He will put a foot in.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
He will intercept He will break up play. He will pressure and press players. But if we want to be a team that dominates the ball, we need more than that. Not just that. You've got to have that and then also be able to pick a pass. Like, no, I'm not talking about line-breaking, amazing, like Kevin De Bruyne passes or even Harry Kane passes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you've got to be able to take the ball under pressure, turn, and make a simple pass. And I don't think he can do that. If you watch him closely, he always passes backwards. Or I'd say even more than Winks. When he's under pressure, that is, sorry. If he has time, then yeah, he will pass forwards. But like, if there's any sort of pressure, unlike if you're pressing Ndombele or if you're pressing even Winks at times this season anyway, what I've seen of him, Winks is more likely to turn.
I know what you mean. He looks very press unresistant at the moment.
Exactly.
That's what I'm noticing as well. And he kind of gets caught where he's having to play a quick little pass, 6-yard pass, but he's always having to sort of rush it backwards or sideways, isn't he?
Yes, and do you know what the most frustrating thing about it is for me is that sometimes he's actually not even being pressed that hard. Sometimes he thinks that he's being pressed.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's got a bit of space,
That's the worst,
and he
isn't
still
it?
passes it straight back
That's
to the
the worst.
defender. He'll be like this.
Which is that's what we hated about Winks
Yes,
as well, wasn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think that's just a confidence thing, or do you think that could be just, or do you think that actually is part of his game and it's no one's really noticed it, or do you think it's deteriorated, this season, or what?
I've been saying it since the start. If you go back to
What about last season?
Yeah, last season, as soon as from the first match when we played Everton, and it was his first game, so you couldn't.
Yeah, he
really
had
put
a
that
poor
on.
start to last season.
Yeah, he did, but I was happy when he was playing well. But he was playing well next to Ndombele because all he had to do was he could do all the pressing, and then he could pass it to Ndombele, and then Ndombele could dribble.
I thought he played well against City though, first game of the season. I thought he played very well.
Yeah, he did. But Dele Alli played well that game.
Everyone played
And
well.
where is
maybe.
he?
Yeah.
Would you want him in the team? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. True. Well, maybe we can ask some other people as well what they think about Pierre. I don't want to be too hard up on him because I just, we're winning at the moment. There's a bit of momentum, but yeah, okay. Should we try third time lucky, Vinny, or how confident are you?
I can hear you.
I'm joking. Can you hear us?
Let's not do that, John. Not now. I can hear you fine.
Brilliant.
All right. Okay.
How you doing, Matty?
How you doing, Matt? I haven't spoken to you for a while.
It's been a while. 2.5 years on this platform, and you gave me my most embarrassing moment by bringing me on there when I can't hear you. But it's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Sorry about that. Anyway, redeem it. Redeem the situation, Matt.
It was just a good performance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to be too critical of what was probably our best performance this season. I think we controlled the game in both halves in two very different ways. I think in the first half we were good in possession. We looked dangerous going forward again. And in the second half, as you were saying there, at the I think might have been your instant match reaction. I was looking at the start, and I thought our defensive shape was really good, and we really nullified that threat of Brentford. I think they were trying to play it through the middle with the extra man in that midfield, but we defended really narrow, and we made it quite difficult for them to find the space in there. And I do think to some extent we were lucky they couldn't really affect the game with their fullbacks, who would have had a lot of space if they did get in possession. But look, we count our blessings when they do come, because they've been few and far between this season. And let's credit what was a better performance than we've seen for quite a while.
How much of that do you think was us getting better, or how much was that down to Brentford? Because we were just talking about this just off camera. We were just saying, they weren't the best, well, and on camera as well. They weren't the best opposition, were they? So I don't know if that was like a true test of how good we were, or just how poor they were. What do you make of that?
Yeah, they've been a bit of a weird one this season, because they started really well and then win 5 games without a win, and they got that 3 points against Everton on Sunday, and you think they're going to come into this game all guns blazing. And Thomas Frank even said at the start of the game, or before the game, that they were going to press at every opportunity they got, but they never really seemed to hit their stride either in possession or out of possession. And I'd like to think that was down to us some bit. It may be a bit naive to say that it was, but I do think we were just better on the night, and we contributed somewhat to their to how poor they were. But they're still a difficult side to come up against, and I think they showed that maybe the first 15-20 minutes of the second half, that they did have a little bit of something in them, and they were kind of taking the game to Tottenham and carrying the initiative quite well in how they were keeping the ball and getting advanced up the pitch quite a bit as well. But you were saying in your instant match reaction, I fully agree with it, that it seemed like a team that had just come up with the expectation of going back down. And I kind of go one step further. It seemed like a team who had already been relegated, and they had a bit of freedom about the way they were playing, but they weren't too worried about getting caught in the counter, which Tottenham
that's
did,
a nice, I like that.
Times. Yeah, and look,
So
we take it.
yeah, I was just going to ask, like, exactly what about our performance you liked, because, you know, I just didn't see it as one of those performances that I would put in the best category. I think we were probably better against Man City,
City were
maybe
better,
first
weren't
half,
we? Yeah.
Chelsea even. But
Yeah.
we've been poor this season. So what exactly did you like about the performance?
It was just the progress, to be honest, and that's all we can really ask for with Conte. You know, at this stage, of course, it's only his third league game in. It's that it's better than the last performance, and it's better than what we saw under the last couple of managers, and I feel that it was. I thought, you know, in possession, we looked a bit more threatening going forward. We were taking on shots from distances that we haven't in quite a while, which led to that 3.5 games without a shot on target. You know, Son had one from range today. That I think Fernandez saved well, but there's a bit of fluidity back in that front line, and you have to remember, you can't go from 0 to 100. You can't expect to be playing the defensive football we were playing last year at the start of this season, and then in one game everything be back to absolutely perfect. It wasn't, but they were trying a few things, you know, between Son and Lucas quite a bit. There was a few quick intricate passes, a few flicks, good movement off the ball, and it didn't come off, but that's fine because it's better than what we were doing last week, and hopefully next week we're going to be even better than that again. And I wouldn't put it, obviously I wouldn't put it anywhere near a classic Spurs performance, or maybe even like the ones you mentioned there, City and Chelsea first half were probably better performances, but this one feels more like a building block than those games did, because that Chelsea game was very much a one-off, and that City game, I think it's just the luck we have against Man City perhaps was just what carried us over the line in the end. But this feels like a building block, and one that we can add on. And look, having said that, the game against Norwich on Sunday is going to be a completely different task, and they're going to park the bus, and then we get into that situation where we don't have that creativity and we don't have that number 10 that can break them down. But if we're comparing the performances from the last 2 months, I just think we were better in possession. We're more compact and more structured out of possession. And there was a lot of Conte-isms, is the best way to describe it, creeping into the game. You know, that second goal that we scored, I saw a stat, it was like 4.2 seconds between the ball crossing the halfway line and the ball crossing the goal line. And that speed
That's
going
Conte,
forward is something that it is. Oh, it's typical Conte. And even the way we got forward, that ball played into Son, he cushions it for Harry Kane and he spins and he's gone. You know, that kind of, those layoffs to make that play between the lines is what made Conte so successful, especially in his last spell at Inter Milan. It's so fluid, and it's really difficult for teams to compete with. And when you have someone like Harry Kane who can pick up that half space and on his day can pick out passes like that, you know, it's going to be difficult for any team to compete with us. But it's about doing this on a consistent basis and against better teams as well. That would be the biggest task for Antonio Conte.
Do you know what, Matt? You have brightened up my day already, because what he's done is he's turned this into me being a spoilt Spurs fan that has, you know, I've got too...
Why? Why are you spoiled?
Because I got too used to such good football under Poch and all that sort of stuff that, like, I just expect us to play good football all the time, whereas he's made me see this as a building block, which is what it is. Do you know what I mean? He's totally right. There's no way that we were just going to go from playing defensive football to free-flowing attacking football. And he's just made me feel much better about it.
Well, I had to change my headphones, so I missed what Matt said there. But yeah, fair play. You mentioned before, you said you like the defensive shape. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that? So what is it? Just the fact they're playing in a 3 and there's a little bit more cover? Or do you actually think that they're kind of grown into that, you know, like they've taken the mantle and they're growing into their position a little bit more? You know, players are sort of stepping up a bit.
Yeah, look, that definitely applies to Eric Dyer and Ben Davis, who I thought were really good on the night and have been quite good since Conte came in. Not entirely defensively based, but I think Ben Davis going forward as a attacking centre back, I think in a similar position to what Alessandro Bastoni has played for at Inter Milan, he's taken on that mantle really well. But defensively, I think the difference between what we're doing now and what we did under Jose Mourinho, I'd kind of exclude Nuno from this because I just don't want to talk tactics about him because I don't think there's much there to talk about. But with Jose Mourinho, he knew that our defence wasn't good enough. He knew the personnel in there wasn't good enough. And what he did was he just tried to put us as deep as possible with just a simple, you know, four at the back and just defend and hope for the best. But with Conte, like you mentioned, there's 3 at the back there, which immediately is an extra man in there. There just seems to be more structure and more kind of discipline and more of a plan within there in how to contend with these teams. And with the 3 defenders back there up against Ivan Toney and Brian Mbeumo, that's an extra man up there straight away. What I like to see was when, for example, Enrico Henry had the ball out on the left-hand side, Emerson Royal is being dragged out to deal with that, as he should be. But Sergio Reguilon then on the other side was filling in, and it made it seem a really rigid back 4. And it just seemed like we had that extra man in defence at all times. And with the way we were defending in the middle of the pitch as well, like I mentioned, those 3 in midfield with Norgard, Janelt and Onyeka, they had that extra man over there. But I thought Højbjerg and Skip were just so good at kind of cutting out the passing channels and, again, conceding that possession out wide, which Brentford thankfully didn't really try to avail of, but cutting out those passing lines and preventing them from building any sort of attack within those central positions. And look, it may have been luck on the night, it may have been Brentford playing into our hands, but I thought the structure was good and the plan was clear to see there from Conte.
What do you make of the? Sorry, because I know you're about to say something there, but I want to talk about Pierre.
I was actually going to
ask him about that.
I was going to ask him about. See, we're so in sync, aren't we?
There we go.
But no, I was also going to say, what did you think of Kane and Pierre as well?
I'll start with Kane because I've been very vocal in my criticism of him this season, and I don't think there's much there today that you can praise. But again, it's just progress. I thought he was working a little bit harder off the ball, especially in that second half. I think I noticed in the first half his pressing was leaving a bit to be desired, but in the second half he seemed a bit more keen. He was sprinting down the ball rather than just trying to cut off the half space with a light-hearted jog. In possession we saw a few more good passes like that ball to Reguilon. He had that brilliant volley pass out to Emerson in the first half as well, which probably should have resulted in a chance for Son. So again, a bit more progress, which makes it easier to be patient, as we know we have to be when we're seeing those building blocks. With Højbjerg, he's not been at the level he was at last season, but that may be because he has another competent defensive midfielder in beside him in Oliver Skipp, who I think was the best player in the pitch tonight. He's kind of taken the onus off Højbjerg a bit in those positions, and I think what Skipp did really well tonight that Højbjerg didn't was when Brentford were trying to break, he was winning every 50-50 he was involved in, and he was nullifying that threat right at the source rather than us having to chase the game backwards. And maybe Skipp being that standout player is making Højbjerg look a little bit worse. But I'm not going to criticise Højbjerg because he's that player that will give passion 100%, and even his bad game is a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Whereas there's some players in that team whose good game is 5 or 6 out of 10. But Højbjerg hasn't been at the level. I agree. I'll keep saying it, that midfield is lacking a ball player. It happened a few times where Skipp had those chances to ping balls out wide and keep Brentford penned back, whether it was a corner that was cleared or something, and he didn't really have that passing ability, and Højbjerg doesn't have it either. So I do think we need an extra man in there. Take Lucas out, put Kane and Son as a 2 and play a number 10. But the only thing is we don't have
take Lucas out. In there. Don't want to say that as a John here. Take Lucas out.
Sorry, John. You have to take someone out. But we don't have a 10 in there just yet. You can't trust Lo Celso. You can't trust Ndombele. I don't think Lucas is creative enough on the ball in terms of his passing range to play in that central role. But if we get one in January, I'd be very surprised if we don't switch to that 3-4-1-2. But in terms of the rigidity and building something again to improve on going forward, I think that's a very, very good midfield duo we have in there.
Give it Winky. That's what I say.
Give it a Winky. What do you reckon of his cameos?
I said in the first half, and I didn't read my comments after I said this on my live stream, but I said he was the player that we were missing in that first half. And in terms of style rather than the quality he's shown recently, because the best thing he was for Tottenham was when we were playing every game like we played that first half, camped in the opposition box. He was that metronome that was playing that pass that Skipp couldn't, and he was still the player breaking up those 50-50s. So look, if Winks can get back to any sort of form, I think he's a good player to have in these types of games. And he played a few good passes when he came on. He played a brilliant ball down the line for Son. He had one moment in the middle of the park under a bit of pressure and a few 2-3 quick passes with Skipp, and we got out of that trouble. But I'd put him in the same bracket as Dyer, as we kind of had these moments with them a lot, but it's never consistent, and you're always back down in 2-3 weeks' time to how is he a professional footballer, and I wouldn't be
exactly. Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, that's the problem. I see a lot of fans are quite reactive. As soon as he has a couple of good cameos against poor opposition, everyone's like, "He's incredible, get him back in here." And then like he'll play up against a top club, and then suddenly everyone's like, "What is he doing? Like he should have been sold 2 seasons ago." We're very fickle as a fan base.
He's been mismanaged though by. I'm not saying he's a great player. I'm not saying that. I'm not back in Winks, but I'm just saying like. At his best, he did play well against some good teams. Real Madrid, Man City. He's played good games. You know what I mean? Under Poch.
But when he's really under the cosh, though, he gets exposed, I think. And it can almost feel as though we're playing with 10 men, I think, in those teams.
I'm not even going to lie. I know you two won't agree with this, but sometimes I feel like that with Højbjerg as well. I honestly do feel that,
aren't you, this season?
When he's constantly being pressured and passing back because he isn't a ball player. Yeah. I know he can, in space, find some good passes, but that's different to being able to deal with pressure. But anyway, so
Matt, you know what I liked about Winks when he came on? He gave the ball away 2 or 3 times, but he gave the ball away because he was actually driving forwards with the ball. I don't know if you noticed, he actually a couple of dribbles, and actually for me that's what's always been missing out of his game, is that ability to actually dribble your way out of trouble. You know, like Mora does, he kind of dribbles the team out of trouble a little bit. And I actually think if Winks added more to that game, I don't mind if he gives the ball away doing that, because I actually think it helps the team. Did you notice anything different in that today?
I did. He looked more positive on the ball, and a few kind of forward passes as well that went a bit astray. But there's this weird thing, and I don't know if it's just within the Tottenham fan base or if it's within every fan base. But if you look at Winks' passing stats, say for the last couple of years, I'm sure his pass completion is 85, 90, 95.
Yeah, the highest.
He plays those, like he plays those sideways passes, he plays those backwards passes, and you can say it's an agenda or narrative, whatever. It's fact. The passes he plays go that direction. Then you look at Dele Alli, and his pass accuracy is probably down at 60, 70%. And I remember making this point very, very vocally when we played Stoke in the Carabao Cup last year. Remember, Dele Alli gave the ball away, and Jose blamed him for the goal that happened. But when you're a player like Dele Alli, the passes you try, the flicks around the corner, or the balls in between the two centre backs, more often than not, those passes are going to be intercepted. But I'd rather play, say, 5 passes trying to get through the lines, set someone in a goal, and 4 are failed and 1 succeeds.
Exactly.
Rather than every single time Dele Alli plays it back, it's complete a pass, but we go nowhere.
Exactly.
We're going to see that if Winks tries to become this player that's a bit more progressive, maybe a bit more in the style of Ndombele, in that he can be a bit defensive as well, but maybe tries to be more creative. Those passing stats are going to drop. And the fans who hate him for the fact that he is Harry Winks, they're going to bring that up. But if you want him to be more progressive, you're going to see a change in his stats in terms of, if he gets dispossessed and stuff like that. And hopefully he can become an effective player like that for us. But having said all that, I don't think it's in him.
Do you know what? That's a brilliant point, because that's why I really hate that pass percentage completion stat. Yeah, I just think it's the most misleading, erroneous stat you can have, because people think, well, they even do it on Sky Sports. They go 90% pass completion percentage. You're like, yeah, but you could just pass that backwards all game. It means nothing. Yeah. But to the untrained eye, people think that means, wow, he's a good passer, that guy. No, he's not. He can't pass, so he has to go backwards. So that's why I despise that stat. And you just made the perfect point there. You want them to take risks. And if that means giving the ball away 4 times, but that killer pass on that one time, that's going to unlock the defence. And I think that's Winks, maybe that could be the thing that changes him. If he actually thinks more like what you just said there and takes a risk and is prepared to give the ball away, but being positive, we could have, maybe there could be something new there.
The thing is,
Fingers crossed, we never know. I mean, probably not. But
just quickly, not to keep it on Winks, but at youth level, I've got a mate, Windy, he's part of the Fighting Cock and stuff like that. He is big into youth, and he's always saying that at youth level, he was basically an AM. He was an attacking midfielder. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He was brilliant at that.
He used to dribble when he first came into the side.
It was just coached out of him because we needed a defensive midfielder at the time. So now he's lost. But sorry.
Anyway, we could talk about Winksy all night, couldn't we? Winky.
I could. Winky. Better than Hobby.
Anyway, Matt, we are a point. What are we? A point behind Arsenal now?
With a game in hand?
With a game in hand. I mean, we're looking up at the moment, aren't we?
And are we a point in front of United with a game in hand as well?
I think so.
Yeah. Jesus.
Look, those numbers may be slightly misleading towards the season we've had so far. What I will say is, look, things are looking better. And the fact that every season at the moment seems to be whoever is the least bad will get into the top 4. I think having Conte at the helm is a good way to win that race. But with Rangnick coming in at United, I think there's pressure there. And I think West Ham will find their form again. And I said it when Conte was appointed, and I'll still say it now. I don't think we're going to get top 4 because there's just too much lacking within that team. And like we're seeing at the back, one injury can really, really change things. And the last thing we need now is to get ahead of ourselves and for those expectations to be running high. Like I was sitting here I'd say 12 months ago today, telling Ben and Sim how we're going to win the Premier League. I'm not falling into that trap again. I think it's best if any Spurs fans don't. But look, if we're 2 points off of the game in hand, it's possible. But I realistically, I still don't think it's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. Because
I agree.
We need to keep using the word progress, but we need to make progress. We need to move forward, and
it's a transition season, as we've been saying for like the last 30 years since I'm a fan.
It's a transitional decade.
A transition season.
Transitional decade.
That's fair enough. All right, just quickly, best player and unsung hero.
Best player, Skip.
Oh, I think you're going to give it to Winky.
After all that build-up.
Best player, Skip. Unsung hero, I'll give it to Emerson, because I thought at the start of that second half, defensively, I thought he got us out of a few pickles. Still rash, still gives away the ball too much, still not the best defensively, but I think in that 15-20 minute spell, he did well to get us out of a few problems.
Agreed.
Fair enough, Matt. Well done, Matty. Good to have you back on the show, and hopefully we can chat to you a bit more in the coming weeks.
Definitely.
Cheers.
Alrighty, take care, man. Come on, you Spurs. Alrighty, Matty Hayes.
Yep, the legend.
Oh, from one legend to another.
To the
we
legend.
can hear him singing in the background. Here he is, Brian. How are we doing?
Matty Hayes. So we couldn't hear you in the background, so I was communicating with Matt. But how are the 2 J's? You doing good? Yeah, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. We actually got a good win percentage now on these watch-alongs. It's going high. It's getting higher.
What is
Fantastic.
our winning
Long may
2
it
out of 3,
continue.
isn't it now?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Long may
Long
it
may it
continue.
continue. Yeah. How are we doing in Canada then? What are we saying?
Well, we're doing good. You know what, mate? Night and day from the last performance, obviously against Mura. Night and day,
Yeah.
and there's two words that I'm using at the moment to take from that game that we can all look at is trust and respect. I mean, we've got a manager now that the whole team respect. We can see under Nuno they didn't respect the manager for whatever reason and getting him in. And what you notice today is the team started to trust each other again. Like the back three was solid. Reguilon was more progressive, so he had confidence in the back three. It looks like the team are playing as a team now, not as a bunch of individuals. I think it was a great performance by all.
Do you know what I noticed? It was like the difference between this game and the Mura game is we had the outlets of Reguilon and Emerson, you know, especially Reguilon this game. There was a clear outlet, there was a clear out ball, and we didn't really have that against Mura. Ooh. And I think them coming back in, it kind of it fulfilled the system, fulfilled the...
You remember that our out ball on the left got sent off, didn't he? So within 30 minutes, so that's probably why it felt like we didn't have one, because we actually didn't. But
it was, What else did you notice about today's performance then that stood out for you? I mean, Matt said, you know, the three at the back, and that felt very solid. I thought for me, Reguilon was man of the match, but him or Skip, I would say they're both the same. I'd say they both had great games. But what else would you say?
When we get to discussing man of the match, it's not one of those two. But I think the back three was superb, and those back three that were there today come in for a lot of criticism, whether it's worthy or not. That's personal opinion. But I am a fan of Sanchez, and I think if he gets a run of games and if he plays in the right of a back three, he can do something. And today he was there to match Tony for power and for strength, pace, and he did that. Tony was very, very quiet. Davies and Dyer, who have played every minute in the Premier League under Conte, look comfortable. And who would have thought that? Reguilon, the thing we were doing with Conte, with Mourinho, is we had Reguilon for his pace, but seeing that we're so defensive, we never utilised it. Yeah. Whereas now we are utilising it. And one thing I will say, and I've been very critical, bloody hell, I can't speak, critical of Kane. But that through ball to Reguilon was sensational. That's what he can do. That's what he can do. That was a defence splitting pass. It was a great performance.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a great performance by Kane because I think he did go missing a lot of that game. But I would say that
what you're looking for.
But do you know what? I think he needs to drop back into a Sheringham role.
Yeah, because Brains McLeod has just put a good thing in the chat there. He said, look, from his perspective, he said, Kane was unreal tonight. Did you see the passes he played? Because he could do that.
That's what I prefer him playing deep, because he can be that quarterback, and I think he's got that in his game. And he was playing some De Bruyne-esque passing in that game at times, but then he goes a little bit lead boots for like, you know, the rest of the game, and he doesn't drive into the box or create an angle for himself, so it's kind of it's a difficult one with Kane. But he is effective when he kind of gets back into that sort of into the hole, doesn't he?
Well, John, while I'll add on top of that, I don't know if you and Josh have seen this and if people in the chat. I think what we're seeing at the moment is like that goal that he should have scored when he was 1-on-1 and had the defender near him. Yeah. He's not normally Harry Kane is known for shooting early. He pulls the trigger early before defender and goalkeeper could, and I think there's so much pressure on him to get this goal that he's taking one touch too many to try and be sure that this is going in, and he's lost that. He just needs to be a bit more ruthless and get that first releasing the shot earlier, but he's definitely got the Sheringham in him.
I think he should go more into a Sheringham role.
Yeah, he could do. I mean, Conte said at the Euros, didn't he? And everyone talks about it. That they said if I had Kane, he's going to stay up top, not move, and he's going to be there and be a predator. Well, he hasn't done that so much right now. I know it takes a long time to coax it out of it because he's so used to doing it, but that's the kind of quality Kane can pass at. We know he has got one hell of a passing range, and if we can find a striker to complement him, he can totally play the Teddy Sheringham role without a doubt.
Yeah, I see that.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, well, I guess he's still going to work with the team, isn't he? He's still like figuring things out, and he might tweak things, and he might start seeing. You know, I know he sees Kane as that front man, but maybe he's going to see that his strengths are his passing. Maybe he wasn't expecting that as well. Maybe he's sort of starting to see how effective he can be on the ball. It definitely wasn't his worst performance. I actually think that he has improved slightly under Conte, showing a little bit more heart than he has before. So I can't really knock him at the moment. There's still question marks over his overall, energy for the whole 90 minutes, I would say. I mean, I would have liked to have taken him off a bit early, just because I think, put some fresh, energetic legs on like a Hill or something.
But to get the goal, like you said.
But then you want him to get the goal just to get his confidence going.
That's all it is, John and Josh. All it is, I feel, he needs to get a goal that comes off the back of his head or a toe poke or off the post and hit him accidentally, or even a penalty. He just needs this goal. And if he can get this goal, obviously he'll feel a lot more confident about himself, and then there'll be the onslaught of goals we know he can do. But it is promising. I mean, I have been so critical of him, probably one of the most critical people that come on all these shows. But there is definitely, like you said, signs of improvement. There's no doubt whatsoever. So that's a real positive to take.
Good man. Anything you ask?
No. Man of the match and unsung hero, Brian?
So here we go. Man of the match for me, Ben Davies.
Wow.
I really think,
really?
I
Man
was
of the match.
him.
Man of the match. Seriously.
Mate, do you know what? He is. You cannot.
He was solid, but he wasn't.
Well.
Yeah.
He's been brilliant. He's been in that position. What he's done for Wales, he's actually done a great job. And if we're all big enough to criticise him, you've got to be there to say, do you know what? It's another clean sheet. It's another game that he's played in that position. And out of the back three, he's probably looked the most comfortable since Conte's come in. And I think you've got to be able to give Ben Davies the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
And unsung hero, I'm going for another one of the back three, and I'm saying Davinson Sanchez. Because he may look clumsy with his passing or whatever, but he was in that game to keep Tony quiet, use his strength and his pace, and that's what happens. I really think there's a player in. Look, listen, with Sanchez, you either get extreme brilliance or absolutely crap.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground whatsoever, and it's another clean sheet. Tony was quiet, and you've got again give him credit. You've again got to give him credit. So they're my two.
Yeah, fair enough. I like this. It's quite a good thing, isn't it? Because you see different perspectives from the fans. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't argue with anything that you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's making sense. I mean, I don't know about man of the match,
Sanchez,
but I hear that argument though.
Yeah, he was
decent,
solid, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong today. So.
He didn't do anything wrong, so I guess that is good for David.
That's what you want.
He's solid. He's played solid, since Conte's come in. Yeah. All right, Brian, how are you doing anyway out there? You settled?
I'm settled. It's getting cold, but I'm not going to be leaving with my normal things because today is about Spurs. But I will say I'm settled here now. But if he doesn't spend in January, I'll be getting settled very nicely in London in February. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. I've already looked into flights and everything. So the ball is in his court, so to speak. But it's all good here.
Brian, look at the camera. Look at the camera and address Daniel Levy and tell him.
Well, mate, I think he knows. I think I'm being.
He must know who he is.
I've got conspiracy theories in my head. He's watching. I'm like, literally, I'm all over the place thinking, where's he watching? Every single person that follows me on Twitter with a black silhouette, like, no, I'm like, is that one of his, mate? The conspiracy theories in my head are like,
that's paranoia.
Mate, that's big time. But yeah, so I will address him and say, spend your bastard, or I'll be back in February and I'm coming to cause absolute chaos. But what I will say to leave, because today is about Tottenham and Conte, is another big, huge congratulations to you two in the studio, because you help with the watch-alongs like everyone else does. Whoever is in the back end this evening and whoever does the back end work, because they work tirelessly. And also Ben and Simeon for hitting 97,000 subscribers, which is a monumental...
They did that today, yeah.
A monumental achievement. No channel deserves it more. And let's just hope they get to that 100,000 that they richly deserve really, really soon. So instead of saying my normal, I will say, we are Tottenham TV. Love ya. Peace out.
Bless you. Peace out. Yeah. Yeah, 97,000 today it hit.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was talking about we should do...
because of the fishmonger's arms.
Yeah, I'll have to mention that as well for the people coming on. But, I mean, I think we should... I was telling Ben and Sim they should do a 100,000 party.
Definitely. Yeah,
definitely.
They've got to.
Do it at, is it the Aroma Lounge where we did the... where we watched...
Yeah. In the summer.
So who's up for that in the chat? So we'll do like 100,000 party and drink some Ben and Sim.
Yeah.
Oh, Cody Mac. Oh no, are we ready for? Yeah, we are ready. Cody, with the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, it's coming in there.
It's back. It's coming back.
Wow, that was quick. Because
you're like Homer Simpson, you know, when he shaves and then he like 2 seconds later it's just like a beard again. Have you seen that?
That's why I don't bother shaving.
Makes sense.
Oh, all right, Cody. Where would you like to start on that? Would you like to start off with best player and unsung hero? Or do you want to come in with one of your, good
let's
angles?
Let's finish with best player
All right,
and unsung hero.
Okay.
But yeah, you know what? I think it was a very nice professional win. It was very encouraging. I thought the effort level and just the level of fight. Like we kind of kept our foot on their neck the entire game, and like they had a few. There was a couple. It feels like every time that the ball is in the air in our box, we were a little bit uncertain. There was a couple times there where Lloris was flapping at the ball and everything, but generally we handled everything that they gave us, and we were good. We were pretty good, but like in general, like I think there were points in the game where there were stretches of 5 to 7 minutes where the eyes started glazing over, and it just kind of felt like two championship quality sides going at one another. But you're always going to take 3 points, and that's the first time that we've won by 2 goals all season. So I'm not going to be too hard on the players. That's for sure.
Cool, that's true, isn't it?
That's insane.
Oh my
isn't
goodness,
it?
that is
How
insane.
far into the season?
I didn't think about that.
We're over.
Is
a
that
quarter,
right?
Almost a third.
Have
right?
we not won a game
No.
2-0 or 3-1 yet?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's all been 1-goal wins until today, so it was a relief that we had that quick strike counter attack where Sonny got his goal, and yeah, it was just it was nice to kind of be relaxed. It was like the bare minimum that you want to expect from your side, but it was progress, like some of the callers who have called in before said, and that was nice to see. There was some venom to the way that we approached the game, and to see a consistent performance for 90 minutes consecutively was very encouraging. Because let's give Brentford some credit. They've given some very good sides all they can handle this season. Liverpool, they took them 3-3 in what was maybe the most exciting game of the Premier League season so far.
Yeah.
Chelsea, they absolutely peppered Chelsea for the last 20 minutes of that game, and we made them look pedestrian. So there's something to be said for that.
Do you think we made them look pedestrian, or they just were pedestrian? Because I don't know, they didn't seem to turn up really today,
They've
did
just
they?
beaten Everton, haven't they?
I know, but maybe they're 2 different games though.
Let's consciously
I'd like to
believe
think it's us. And
Yeah,
it's good for us
let's
to think
believe that
Yeah,
it was
it's good for us
Conte's
to think
system
that.
and the players putting in the effort.
Yeah.
I agree with everything Cody said there, definitely.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Like, we have to give, if we're always going to just give ourselves no credit when we win games, then we're not going to enjoy very much of the season. So you have to say this is a Brentford side that has represented themselves quite well since being promoted. They've been the best of the bunch in terms of the promoted sides. Listen, if they beat us today, they would have been ahead of us in the table. So
Wow,
cool.
You have to enjoy it when you beat a side, even if they didn't really show what they're capable of. But we tend to always analyze Tottenham's performance in a vacuum as if there's not another team on the pitch. But there's been several times where other teams have imposed their will, and we didn't allow Brentford to do that today. So give credit where it's due.
All right, so give credit where it's due player-wise then. What were you thinking about our performance individually?
I think that we lack quality on the ball. It's can be infuriating watching our team having to just pass the ball around and wait for the other team to make a mistake. And that's kind of what happened on the second goal. Brentford fell asleep for a split second and we were off and running. But we don't seem to have very many players who can take on a defender and beat a defender. So we're forced to kind of play this very patient, not so much tiki-taka, but just making safe pass after safe pass and trying to work it down one flank and then work it down the other. And it can be a little bit infuriating to watch. You definitely see that we need to insert some more quality into the side if we're going to really truly make a run at this top 4, because despite the fact that we have a game in hand and we're only 2 points off top 4, so if we win that game in hand against Burnley, we'll be in that 4th spot. You can't really say that we're the 4th best side in the Premier League at this point in time with how many games we've lost and how bad we've looked in certain games. But you can definitely see that Conte is starting to impress himself upon the side. And I think that is on display in terms of the amount of effort that the players put forward and how consistent the effort was. The midfield the two holding mids there. Sure, I would like to have some more creativity and attacking intent from our midfield, but they did their job and they did it well. It's just amazing the difference that Skip makes in terms of how much he shores us up defensively, and you can see him starting to add a little bit more cavalier flair to his game in terms of the attempted forward passes and yeah, there's building blocks there. I think that's the biggest thing to take from a game like this. Yes, Brentford are a newly promoted side, but we, as Josh said earlier in the stream, we have been very bad this year. So when we look decent, we have to build on it. So it's good.
I want to ask Cody, because I think what you said there is quite interesting about us obviously needing quality. If you could pick two players to replace, not to
I see where this is going.
Don't. He thinks that I've got it in for Højbjerg here. No, I'm serious. Where do you think we need the quality to change us from that pedestrian side that is waiting for the opposite side to make a mistake into a side that actually takes things on the front foot and can play Conte ball and make our own chances? Where do we need to get stronger, in your opinion?
I think we need a left-sided center back, and I know Ben Davies played very well today. He forced the issue there on the own goal, and he has been very good. He has been very good. We have to give credit, and I think not only has he been good, but when he's been out of the side, we've been much worse. You look at Davinson Sanchez having to play on the left side of that three. It was not very pretty at all, and let's hope we never see that again. But I do think even once we get Romero back, we need a left-sided center back who's decent on the ball to kind of give Conte the tools to execute his plan. And I mean, we need an attacking midfielder, whether that's rehabilitating one of the options that we have in the side right now, whether that means Lo Celso gets healthy and comes back in and is utilized properly, or if Ndombele, comes into the side and shows what he's capable of. Or if we replace someone. But I think as long as we have Højbjerg and Skip in that holding mid, double pivot, this is the kind of football that we can expect, football that's played mostly on the ground, patiently moving as a unit forward and trying to suppress and suffocate our opponent. We're not going to have that player because really the only time that we made successful, incisive passes from midfield was when Harry Kane dropped in and was there to make that type of pass. He's really one of the only players in our side who can make that, who has the vision, the control, and the talent on the ball to be able to get the ball in midfield, turn, beat a player, look up, see that lane to make that pass through to Reguilon, where now we're in two on just two in on the keeper with nobody defending basically. Yeah. So I mean, Harry Kane should be the one who's on the receiving end of that pass.
Yes.
Not to take anything away from Son, but we need an attacking midfielder. We need an attacking midfielder who can also play a strong defensive role. We need the very best version of Højbjerg, or we need to purchase another player.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Højbjerg is the big problem.
Yes, that's going back to
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
I'm joking, Cody. Don't worry.
It's Josh's.
I totally agree with everything you said. I think the left-sided centre back is an underrated shout. It's something I didn't even think about. But Conte's teams, they need good passes from the back, don't they? And I think that Ben Davies, even though he's been brilliant,
I wouldn't say brilliant, but he's been solid, hasn't he? I think it's so easy for us to go.
He's been one of our best players. So if we've been good today, then he's been brilliant, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with that. We need a Sven Botman or someone that can actually play the ball forward a bit from the back line.
Look, we have to be fair. When Ben Davies has good performances, we have to praise him. But can we really expect the good performances to continue? And can we expect good performances against better sides? Because let's face it, against Manchester United, he was exposed a little bit, especially on the Ronaldo goal. And yeah, I mean, if we have this version of Ben Davies playing in the cup games and in the Conference League, and a better left-sided center back to play the Premier League games and against the better opponents, that's only going to make our squad that much stronger. So long may Ben Davies continue to play well, but I don't think he's not the answer. And it's clear that Conte doesn't really trust anybody else at that left-sided center back position, and for good reason, as shown by the Mura game.
Yeah, well, he's the only left-sided centre back, isn't he? Left-footed centre back.
Who? Ben Davies?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why he's opting for him.
And he's not even really a centre back, but
yeah, he is for Wales though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But you know what I mean. He's not
I know
a
what you mean.
career centre back. So.
All right, unsung hero and best player, Cody.
I would say our best player was Son Heung-min. And, he created the opportunity that led to the own goal, and then he was there to finish off the play on the insurance goal. He was also very active pressing, his constantly putting the Brentford defenders under pressure when they had the ball, which made it very difficult for them to build play from the back. And he was just all over the place. I'd love to see his heat map to see, because there were times where he was very, he was in our own third making defensive plays and everything, and he ran himself completely out of gas there. And it's the Son that we've been wanting, since about the fourth or fifth game of the season. He's been on a bit of a down run. The unsung hero, take your pick. It could have been, you could say Harry Kane was the unsung hero because, he didn't get on the score sheet, but I thought he was brilliant in terms of, there were stretches where he was a little bit anonymous, but generally he was fighting when there was the opportunity to fight, and he made that nice through ball that made the goal. I mean, it was an easy play for Reguilon to make by the time everything was done, and it was because Kane hit him in stride with that nice weighted pass through. But also, I think Lloris deserves a shout because I thought he was very good. He did everything that was asked of him. A couple of wonky moments flapping at the ball, but he's been rock solid. Maybe our best player so far this season, and a little bit underrated shout for today.
That's a good shout actually. Yeah,
he probably has.
Field shout. Yeah, how many punches did he do today?
Yeah, I mean, Brentford, they didn't have like a stinging obvious opportunity, but there were times where Lloris was tested and he was up to the task, and that's what we need. There were definitely plays today where if we had Galini in net, we probably weren't going to get a result. So
Galini just watches, doesn't he? He just watches.
I can't remember any real saves though today from Lloris. Can you or not? Maybe I just can't. My memory's not there, but. I remember him dealing with a few crosses, but
something he's always struggled at is being commanding in his box, even at his best. And today, I think he was quite good in those situations. I know he did flap a little bit, but he didn't let it be a mistake. Do you know what I mean?
I think he spilled one, but apart from that, he punched the rest out. He claimed a few.
Yeah. So
I think and you know what? In general, I thought we were just all business on the defensive end. We didn't. Take risks, if there was a chance to kick the ball out of play once we got that two goal lead, we took it, and it's about time that we stopped making idiotic plays that let teams back into the game. So
yeah, more watertight. I like that.
Definitely.
Cody, well done, mate. We'll see you for the next one when your beard's a little bit longer. And I know you don't need to set your watch. You can actually do it on the inches the beard grows now, can't you? That's how it's a new measuring system.
You know what time of year it is.
You know what time it is. Yeah,
that's why I don't have a watch.
That's brilliant.
Nice.
All right, mate.
Cool, Cody.
Cheers for coming on, Cody.
Good job, guys.
Love you. See you later, mate. Glory, Tottenham up, sir. From one beard to another. Kuva 99 TTG. How you doing, mate? What's TTG and what's Kuva 99 mean?
I think he's muted. Are you muted, Kuva?
Vinny, have you...
I was.
Oh, there we go.
You're not anymore.
There we go. Kuva 99 is just an old gaming handle I've had for so many years now that more people know me by this name than my real name online, so I'll stick with it.
World of Warcraft?
TT. Yeah, originally.
I knew it.
Actually,
see, I've got a good eye for that sort of stuff.
That's because you do it, right?
Yeah.
I knew it.
And TTG?
Yeah, I think TTG, Tottenham Tantrum Gold. I'm running with Dermot and Phil. We're doing old school games, lots of highlights and full matches with commentary. We're doing from 60s, 70s, 80s, and a few 90s games thrown in, just basically celebrating our old heroes and some classic matches with big moments. And it's a relatively small channel, but we just got over 100 subscribers now, and it's growing quite quickly.
So what you do like the commentary on over the games? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we don't have the volume of the game on. It's just a few of us giving our own views on the game and memories from it, because a lot of us are getting on a bit now.
Do you have to pretend as though it's like for the first time when you're doing it, or?
No,
oh my God, Danny Rose, or are you like, you know?
Yeah, I think if you're talking about things like Paul Gascoigne's free kick in the semi-final against Arsenal, you're not really really going to get away with it then.
Yeah.
But anyway, today's game, eh?
Yeah. What did you think?
Well, it's like our Spurs are back, really, isn't it? It was so refreshing. I mean, we've had these sort of boring conversations in the past about DNA and things like that. This was our DNA. This is the Spurs I know. It's the swift passing, short passing game, attacking, getting players forward. It's fantastic to watch. Some of the flicks and first-time passing was sensational today. Even some of the ones that didn't come off it was getting you out of your seat. It was so good.
Really? Do you think it was that good? I mean, I thought the second half for Leeds was more like what you're talking about, which is a little bit more dynamic.
I think that was a more like we have to push
flying
forward.
at them.
Where I get what Guv was saying here, like even the ones that didn't come off, you could see we were trying to do combinations.
I think it was solid today. It's a more solid. It's like that's how I would describe it. But you were seeing a lot of flair, were you?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the back heels were just never saw that coming. I didn't think we'd risk it. I mean, Conte's got the reputation of being quite a sort of defensive manager at first, so he gets the team rock solid. But we were playing with a lot more invention today, and it's all because we've now got the tactic of pushing the other teams further into their own half, pressing aggressively. We can then shorten the distance between players, so our passing's more accurate. We keep the ball more. We work it into the box, create chances. What happens? Sun scores. I mean, it's simple, really, but we just haven't been doing it before. Harry Kane, I think, a very underrated performance from him, because people have just got in their head now. They're going to hate anyway, no matter what. But he was doing what he used to do when he first got into the team, and that's offering himself up as a target man, receiving the ball deep, and he was picking the passes. He was instrumental in one of the goals where he threaded a beauty of a ball through to Reguilon. And Reguilon cross for the goal. It was difficult to point out any sort of lows to the game at all. Even Sanchez, I mean, I'll pick him out as one of the unsung heroes today, same as Brian Daigle did, because he did look very clumsy and everything, and people were making the usual Bambi on ice thing. I mean, let's face it, we're all thinking that. Here we go again. But then when you really studied it, he kept Tony very quiet. When Tony was getting the ball, Sanchez was on him, and they'd end up in a tangle. It would take a couple of seconds to Tony to shrug him off, which he did quite often because he's a total handful. But when he did shrug him off, it had given the other players time to get back into position. So he dealt with the attack easily. We were totally stifling their wings on both sides. Lucas Moura was working his socks off, doubling up with Emerson to keep that right flank really quiet all game. There wasn't tremendously a lot of coming through attack-wise from there, but they just shored up that side totally. So that enabled Reguilon to bomb forward at will. He was having a great game. There was quite a few candidates for man of the match, I thought. Possibly another unsung one that you could even put for man of the match, and that was Hugo. Hugo's ability now, dominating in the air, we haven't really seen that from him before. It's something a lot of us talked about before. We'd like to see him more sort of dominant in the air, coming out punches and catches, and he was doing that today. He looked really, really in control the whole game. Dyer's another unsung one.
Yeah.
Rock solid throughout.
Yeah.
Just faultless display, really, wasn't it, from him? That helps the likes of Sanchez to do what he did and chase Tony around to try and keep him quiet. Ben Davis, another one like Dyer, I've been massively critical of over the seasons, but he's really playing well now. There's no denying it. He's even getting forward well. This is things I didn't think he could do. I thought he was finished. So yeah, just so many positives. The aggression between Skip and Højbjerg, that was the engine room for everything. The centre of midfield was completely under control. Brentford getting nothing through there, desperately trying to come down our wings, and we just pushed them back. They offered so little, and only a few weeks ago they're dominating Liverpool when they were going forward.
Yeah,
we had none of that. It was a really comfortable win. When's the last time we can say that?
Yeah,
you know what? It's the first time I think this season where we've gone 90 minutes and it's kind of been pretty good the whole way through the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Normally it's like started off first 10 minutes like on the back foot, looked really shaky, and then we'll have a little spell. We'll have a good second half, or maybe have a good first half. But this is probably the first 90 minutes I've seen it's actually looked pretty comfortable throughout. I can't really think of another game. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it did feel pretty solid the whole way through, didn't it?
Well, the first time we won by 2 clear goals, isn't it?
And the first time we won with two clear goals as well.
The attacking intent was there. I mean, it's the Conte factor now. The fans were up for it.
Yeah, they were.
Noise levels were way up. I mean, I mean, it's difficult to tell so much when you're watching, isn't it? But when you know some of your friends have gone to the game and they're just raving about the noise levels, you think, this is all happening now. The home fortress is starting to take shape. And the way we played, it's the confidence from some of these players who we thought were completely washed up. Brilliant. It's everything we wanted to see in response after that horrendous Moura game. But this is a different starting 11. You can't really directly compare the two.
That's why we shouldn't be doing that. I don't think you should have let the European games contaminate the morale of the Premier League games. For me, they're two separate things.
Entirely different kettle of fish altogether. I mean, even the travel to Eastern Europe affects you as well. You're not quite fresh when you play on the after the long trips. But it was all there today. Literally everything we were asking for was there, except for one key ingredient which would have made my day, and that's if Harry Kane had hit the net.
Yeah.
That would have just lifted everybody. Yeah, because how fast all fans' opinions going to change when he starts getting the goals again. It'll be Harry's back. All things will get forgotten.
Do you think? If he has a game like today where he drops deep and he starts spreading the passes, a little bit like he was doing sort of the first half of last season, I'm all right with that. To be honest with you, Like if he can do that and create chances and he can get into that pivotal position and he's very influential, I don't even mind if he doesn't score as long as the team is scoring. To be honest with you, it's just when he has those games where he doesn't do that and he goes missing and he's not working hard. That's I think when I've got an issue with him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean that first season under Pochettino, Kane's role was really to be the target man and bring the others into play around him. They were even said to him that they're not really expecting him to get more than sort of 12, 15 goals in the season. I mean, the fact he exploded with so many was a massive bonus. It shows how well he's developed. But we saw more of the old Kane there. It was just it's the build-up players taking on that responsibility. He knew he had to drop deep because we're lacking the creativity there. But with a little bit of support today, he got a little bit more freedom as well, and he was picking the passes. He was looking good. Like I said, if he just got a goal on top of it, that would have just been icing on the cake. But,
it's like he's gone from a Shearer to a Sheringham. That's how I see his game evolving.
Well, we always used to say he was a combination of the two, didn't we?
But now he's going more into that Sheringham, I think.
Well, Sheringham always scored goals anyway, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think Harry Kane, he's just a bit off it when he's playing for Spurs. He's when he goes to England, he's surrounded by players at the top of their game, and chances are easy. He's had some easy opposition lately as well. He's got his confidence back there, but then he comes back to Spurs. We're in a little bit of turmoil, but it's on the up now, and I'm really confident about him. I think he's going to finish well into double figures on goals by the end of the season. why not? I'm tempted to even have a punt on him for getting the golden boot. Why not?
Do you think he's get 21 goals?
Why
Says
not?
Simshal. Right,
Why
stick a
not?
tenner on
Yeah.
it. Go on, stick a tenner on it.
I don't see that.
I can't see that. I think he's lucky to get 50. I think 15 is probably that'll be a good season from here.
Yeah, but I mean, then he's got some good games coming up to start bagging a few, hasn't he? He'll start on Norwich on Sunday. I mean, if we don't put a few goals past them, we're in trouble again.
Yeah, that could be the one that catalyses it and maybe gets him off the mark.
It could be, and he always likes playing against Leicester and things like that. They're coming up before too long. In fact, I think that's the club he scored the most goals against, isn't it? Leicester. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, could be.
He scored a bucket goal against them and West Ham. So and we got them coming up too. So come on,
you're feeling good. You're feeling good times are coming.
Yeah, so the whole club's lifted. I mean, you just look at the crowd. It's still there. Conte geeing up everybody. It's get on the Conte Express. We're going.
Conte. It's also his passion, though. I think that's also kind of rubbing off, isn't it, on the players and then the fans, and him's whipping up the crowd. And it's got this cycling effect between the players, the fans and the manager.
And Sonny, big smile on his face.
Yeah,
great to see. Well, how long's that been as well? It's all happening. The big hugs after the game. All the players are into it. It's great. Fans going crazy about some great goals and everybody responding. When you got the likes of Ben Davies pushing for man of the match, something's.
Well, normally that means it's a bad thing, doesn't it? When
usually.
Let's be honest.
But now on a win, we're looking at him in a good sense for man of the match. It's incredible. It's just a big turnaround. I think this is the launch of our push for this whole winter period, because there's going to be players also thinking transfer window coming up. I want to be staying in this team, so that's going to have an effect, I think. And they're taking the chances. I mean, Emerson, he's struggling a little bit, but I mean, it's his first season. It's going to take him quite a while to get into the full swing. Maybe even a couple of seasons. It just happens that way sometimes. But with Lucas Moura helping him out, they look very solid down that side. So I'm confident. I think we're well on the up now.
Top 4 then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going for top 4 and a couple of cups.
Why
not?
Steady on.
Why not? We're still in 4 competitions. Man City can't even say that.
Yeah, we were this time last season as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're ignore that one.
Yeah. I like the optimism, though. I love it.
I'm well known for saying, the quadruple's always on.
Can we win the league? Come on. Just.
Well, this season.
Yeah. That was a joke, by the way.
Let's go with a yes anyway.
Right,
don't care. Let's go the full delusional route.
Yeah,
we're winning everything.
That's it. That's better.
Yeah.
Let's go with
that. Liverpool on the horizon as well. So they better get ready for getting battered. That's going to be 5-0 at least, isn't it?
All right, I'm gonna have to take you off now. It's going too far.
Yeah, it's getting a bit late. I need my meds.
Anyway, great to have you on, Matt. That was the first time I spoke to you. Just a quick plug for your channel again. Do you want to give it another plug?
Yeah, Tottenham Tantrum Gold. We'll be on tomorrow morning about 11ish. Just having a chat about general things, comparing Conte with Pochettino's first 5 games.
Nice.
Mornings we like to drag a guest on, sort of random guest on. We'll have Ben Kaufman on tomorrow. We just go. Otherwise, we go through the golden old classics. Seeing the likes of Hoddle and Gascoigne and Ardiles and Graham Roberts and a bit of Robbie Keane we're going to put on as well. Perhaps some Ledley King. Just go through the club legends, because they get so easily forgotten with bloody Levy and his plastic sort of stadium that doesn't seem to celebrate the players. It's all built for the NFL, and we seem a secondary concern a lot of the time. We make issues of like the lack of statues and things at the ground, and just the place should be dripping with memorabilia as far as I'm concerned. It's a shrine for the fans. I mean, what else is the club supposed to be? It's all about our memories. They just don't do enough. So we grumble about it and we show some old matches. But Tottenham Tantrum Gold, anyway, that's what we're all about.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on, my friend. And yeah, good luck with that new channel. And hopefully we'll come on again soon. We'll speak to you then as well.
Cheers, Cover.
Thank you very much. Cheers,
All right,
lads.
take care, mate.
Take care.
He looked like a kind of David Harris in a few.
Oh, that's a great shot. Yeah, with the flat cap. Definitely.
What do you? I was just going to ask you about his opinion. What did you make about what he said there?
I think he's
Share the same optimism.
well. Look, I think that there was a lot to shout about.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the quiet. He was talking about it as if it was like attacking free flowing
Liquid football. I didn't quite.
No, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, because I mean, we kind of saw it almost the opposite, where it was like almost very struggling to sort of create those quality passes until maybe Harry Kane dropped deep and got the ball, or Skip was playing some of those balls. But we got a little bit stuck at times, didn't we? Like trying to thread through. You would say,
I think I'm in between you two.
Connecting the midfield. You said we still struggled with that.
But I still did get his point on. So, you know, he was talking about the flicks that didn't come off.
Yeah,
and he was talking about. So I think I'm kind of neutral.
You're in the middle, in the middle of that. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think it was better than you think as well, but not as good as he thinks.
Yeah, yeah, probably right. Josh, he looks like he's freezing. Hello, mate. Where are you at the moment? Are you under a lamppost?
In the car.
No, I was out. I went to watch the game, man, and it's just so cold out there, man.
Yeah.
It is freezing out. I don't know what the fans must have froze today, but they must be boiling as well, man. Because what a result! You know what I mean? What performance!
Yeah.
So I'm sure they all like sing their hearts out and that at the end. And yeah, man, just happy to get a win and just get up the table, man.
Yeah, it feels nice, doesn't it?
Top four.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I've been looking at I think I've looked at it about 50 times, man, in the last hour. I'm just like, right, if we beat Norwich...
Yeah. Do you ever do that?
That crap already, man.
Do you ever do that where you just stare at the table for about 10 minutes and you're kind of like, you just like embracing that where you are? Do you ever do that?
How far are we off?
So let me read it
Chelsea,
out now. So basically we're in 6th place. We're on 22 points. Obviously you've got a game in hand. Arsenal are above us in 5th on 23 points, so a point behind, but we've got a game in hand. West Ham on 24 points, so we're 2 points behind them with a game in hand. So, I mean, then Liverpool, they're out of sight,
What
basically.
are they on, 31?
Well, they're on 31 points.
And we're on 21 with a game in hand?
22 with a game in hand.
Right, okay, so we'd be on...
Norwich.
And we've got Norwich next.
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be three. It should be 3 points. Should be 3 points.
Has to be. We can't be.
It has to be, yeah.
Otherwise, we are not serious about even top
Otherwise,
6.
we're back to normal. We're back to normal then, you know what I mean? Normal service resumes from there. But
Yeah,
you got to enjoy it, man. You got to enjoy it, guys. You know, we put them away nicely. I thought the first half we were totally dominant, you know, pretty much. Got the game wrapped up. How nice was it to go 2-0 up? I mean, when did that last happen?
I was quite shocked actually when that second one went in. I wasn't used to it. First time this season, apparently. Cody said it was the first time this season. I can't believe that.
I can't remember it last happening. I can't remember it last happening, man. Honestly, like, honestly, someone would have to jig my memory right now. I can't remember it. Maybe someone in the comments could put it down. When did we last go 2-0 up and keep a clean sheet? I mean, that's going way back. You know.
That's a good question. Anyone in the comments section would like
definitely
to...
not this season. Not this season, so...
Yeah.
That's how bad we've been.
And I doubt near the end of last season, under Mason, it was all 2-1s, wasn't it? And stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got to be talking about Mourinho times.
It might be Sheffield United away.
Under Mason?
No, it was under Jose, wasn't it? Was it 2-0, that game? I don't know. We'll ask in the chat section.
No, it's 3-1, I think.
Was it 3? Oh, I can't remember.
It's 3-1.
I can't remember.
We might not have done that
maybe
since
we've never Sheffield United 4-0. Yeah, 4-0. Sheffield United. That's the game I was thinking.
Yeah, they're relegated, so that tells you everything.
That probably.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, wow.
But yeah, man, all good, man. Second half we won the Kosh a bit. I thought them long balls coming in, Lloris was good. I just the 3 at the back just suits Spurs more. Do you guys feel like the 3 at the we just look more? Obviously, there's a lot more than the formation. There's Conte, there's motivation, there's tactics. Everyone knows what they're doing. But I just feel like this 3 at the back, it gives Reguilon and Emerson license to bond. I think it frees up the middle a bit because you've got Skip and Højbjerg. With the 3, it's like a nice middle 5 there, just protecting the back, and it allows the upper half of the pitch just to go on there and bomb on. And I just wonder, like, Nuno's gone, of course, but he didn't really experiment enough with 3 at the back. And he had Romero, and it just shows you, do you know what I mean, what quality managers can do. And and how they can get the players changing in a different formation so quickly and get results. And I just think this three at back, man, long live three at the back. I'm loving it.
It's good. What I would say though, just in response to that, we did that against Leeds, and the first half was pretty drab, and it was exactly the same formation for the second half. But there was an astronomical improvement in the second half, and that wasn't the system because it was the same system. And I just think, for me, Conte's design, his passion, has also lifted the whole club, lifted the team, and I think it's kind of making the system look good as well. Do you not think that as well?
I agree with you. Leeds, we didn't look as strong and solid, but I just think the more time this man has, the more chance he has of showing these players how they need to play his way, and individually showing them their different responsibilities in different situations. When we lose the ball, transition counters, which we saw today with the second goal. How to set up in corners. With corners today we look okay. In the past, corners, and you're thinking, shit, here we go. Do you know what I mean? Today I was sitting there going, oh, do you know what? It seems to be okay. Like everyone seems to know what they're doing. This guy's making Ben Davies look good. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, this man was on everyone's list to be out in the summer and January. And now I have to put my hand on my heart and say, I've done that. Go on my Twitter, you'll see it. I want to keep Ben Davies, man. I will not sell Ben Davies in January. I will keep him, man. So this performance today, right? Okay, it was Brentford. Let's not get carried away. Leicester, and when we go away to Brighton's coming out, we'll see what happens, against maybe better wingers and opposition. But this guy is showing already what he can do with someone like Ben Davies. Do you know what I mean? And that's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? That in itself is getting the juice out of these players. But how long will it last is the question. That's why I'm not getting carried away, because we've all been here, guys, where manager bounce, the players suddenly want it, they show aggression and turn up. How can the same bunch of players go from that to what they were doing for Nuno? They haven't got that much older. They haven't changed, everything's been the same. And suddenly you're seeing this passion. And you have to say, these players, they have to take responsibility for not turning up as well. Today we'll give them credit, we'll give Conte credit. But how many times, guys, have we seen the same bunch of players put in the level of effort we saw today? And that's what hurts me the most, is put this in every week and we will finish top 4.
Yeah.
But, we don't always see it.
Yeah, there's the heart. I can see there's some heart, some fight and some spirit in the team that we didn't see under Nuno. That's the thing,
Yeah,
and you could blame the manager, obviously.
Yeah.
You could say, oh, he's not motivating them. He's not shouting the touchlines. And obviously the manager has to take responsibility for that. But I do feel like a lot of these players in the past haven't turned up when they could have. And that's why we're sitting where we are in the table now, because they've just not turned up when they didn't want to. But I think the difference with Conte is I feel like the players think he's here for the long term, because they know that Levy wouldn't have brought him in not to back him. So I feel like Nuno's position was always, he wasn't probably motivating them enough. His tactics, obviously, and his whatever was going on behind the scenes, even his press conferences were depressing. This guy, you can see, he's like furniture already. He's just come in and he's like, right, I'm the boss. Do you know what I mean? I'm calling all the shots out here, and that's great to see as well, because we've not had a dominant figure lead the club. And it feels like he's that dominant figure, that everyone's going to listen to and respect and let him do his thing. So that's great to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really in safe hands with Conte. I haven't really felt that. I mean, I felt with Poch, but he was excelling in his role. But with Conte, it's different. It feels as though you've got Don Corleone coming in to handle everything, and I just feel really relaxed by that. I feel like he's just taking everything into his own hands and, looking after everything. Even on the side of on the touchlines, he was like the whole 90 minutes. You could see him orchestrating, screaming at the players. Even when we were 2-0 up, he was doing it. And that you just love to see that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what? You want a boss to be a boss. You don't want him to be down, because if your boss is down, it's like, well, who do you go to? Who's the leader? He's like twice the age of the players, some of these players. It's like a dad. It's like your dad managing you, do you know what I mean? So if your dad's down, you're going to be like, well, do you know what I mean? Like, the leader has to be up, positive, on it, passionate. Even when the heads are down, the leader must remain high and spirited and motivated. And I felt like Mourinho would get tangled up in his frustration and sit down and do the whole kind of Mourinho thing. What I've seen with Conte is when he's pissed off, he gives a little nod, but then he just shakes it off his shoulders and he's back out again. He doesn't let disappointment make him sit down and go like, negative. He's constantly like, progressive, with his pitch side, like shouting, motivating. And that's important because I feel like our players, we all know they've got a soft underbelly. You know, with Spurs, you get to 70 minutes, doesn't matter if you're Brentford, whoever you are, you're 2-0 down, you still got a chance to draw the game. It's Tottenham. You know, we've got that. We've got that in our DNA.
Historically,
that's the Spursy, you know?
Yeah, that's the Spursiness.
Historically, if I'm an away fan at Tottenham, I'll be like, yeah, listen, get one on the 75th and we can take a draw. You know, we could easily get another goal because it's Tottenham. But I feel like he's got the one thing we're missing, which is that strong fire and like he's a hard nut, you know what I mean? Like even his face, like you know what I mean? He
you can see it. Yeah.
All the time. yeah, he's got that.
You could see him. You could see he could snap if he wanted to.
Yeah, he'll snap on you. He'll square you up. He'll probably take you down I don't know, one of the side rooms in the stadium. Go, what? Come on, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to be here, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I love that about him, man. And I just hope Levy treats him well, man. Like Levy needs to treat him better than his own wife and his kids. Do you know what I mean? Like this guy is precious right now for us. And you know, United could be looking for a new manager in the summer. So you know, there's other big clubs, you know, that could be looking for managers in the summer. So I just hope Levy don't mess this up, man, because this is the best thing we've had. But it's only a couple of games in the Premier League. Everton, you know, maybe we against Leicester, and once we hit a couple of more difficult clubs and difficult teams, we'll see what's really going down with these players. But
then we'll
I think just enjoy the ride, guys, man. Do you know what I mean? So very rarely we sit there and say we won that comfortably. Do you know what I mean? 2-0.
It's a time to be happy, isn't it?
That was the first game that we won that comfortably this season.
And first back-to-back Premier League win. Oh no, well since the first three games.
Since the first three games, yeah. Josh, before you go, mate, best player and unsung hero.
I'm gonna give credit to Ben Davies, man. I'm gonna give credit to Ben Davies because I know obviously he scored the goal and you know right place, right time. He made he took the attacking opportunity. He took the set piece opportunity.
He didn't score though, did he?
Great.
No, he didn't score.
I like the
he claimed it.
That Ben Davies,
he was up there.
Yeah, he claimed it. But I like the fact he was up there. I like the fact he's trying to attack. And we need more attack. You know, we've been on the wrong end of all the attacking numbers for the last, you know, since pretty much day one of the season. We need players to not just rely on Kane and Son. We need these players, defenders. Højbjerg needs to contribute with creativity. He's doing that. He scored last week. You know, Ben Davies today with the header. Reguilon getting more involved. You know, we can't the burden and be predictable with Kane, Son, and Moura. So it's great to see Conte or the players or together between the pair of them deciding to attack. You know, when the moment presents itself, and that's what the big clubs do. You saw it with Van Dijk on the weekend. The big clubs, you know, they know how to switch up attack and defense, you know, and mix it up so that we're more unpredictable. So that was great to see. Ben Davies had a pretty good game. I thought Skip was brilliant. I thought Skip, that man has to make the World Cup. If you don't make the World Cup, then I don't know what the hell's going on the way he's playing at the moment. Ollie Skip, what a player, man. What a player. Like just at that age as well, you know, with very little experience. He's got to be one of the best academy graduates after Kane and I guess Tanganga's obviously in there as well. But I just thought Skip was brilliant. And credit to Kane, man. He's starting. I think he's like realizing that okay, City are not probably going to come back in for me. That day's gone. That cloud's passed. I'm here now. I'm getting on, right? And these guys carry me when I have shit performances. At a Man City, look at Jack Grealish. These big clubs don't carry no one. Doesn't matter because on the bench there's another 100 million next to, there's another 80 million over there. So you know he's maybe thinking to himself, do you know what? I'm in a great place. We have a chance to get back in the Champions League, and it seems like he's to the corner. So I want to give Kane a lot of credit for the incisive passing. You know, that second goal, Son to Kane to Reguilon to Son. That's what we want to see, man. That's like that makes your week. Do you know what I mean? Seeing goals like that. You know, we want to see Kane, like you said, John, drop deep a bit and dictate. I'm not all for this Kane being on the last man. I want Kane to be like just floating. I want him to be, you know, just getting on the ball. Just get that man on the ball. Do you know what I mean? Because his passing through balls and vision is up there with the best in the Premier League. We know he can finish, and at the moment he's lacking the finishing. But if he's lacking finishing, let him create. And when he starts finishing, then great. We got better both like last season. But whilst he's not finishing, let's not get on his back. Let him create. And I just love the way he just dictated.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. All the Kane haters, calm down. Do you know what? Yes, he should have X amount of goals right now. Yes, he shouldn't be like, you know, anywhere near where he is. But the man has gone through expectation, failure in his head, right? Physical failure on the pitch because he thinks Tottenham should be in Champions League. You know, he's carried the club at times. Let's be honest. He's had a crap start to the season, yeah. And you know, he has to take blame as well for not mentally or physically being there. But it seems like it's coming together. So let's get everyone behind him now. Sing his name at Norwich, and if we get Kane firing, you know what that means, people. We saw that today. You get Kane just playing well. Doesn't matter if he's not scoring, just playing well. We look so much more slicker and connected up front. You know, because he's that kind of, you know, he's the hub for Son, and we saw it with Reguilon today. So let's make him that hub, man. Let's not get on his back. I don't think many fans are getting on his back from what I'm hearing recently. But I think he's unsung hero. No, he's not. He's a flipping hero, man. He's a legend. But today, unsung hero because he's coming good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, man. Long may it continue, man. But listen, you guys must be tired. I know what it's like to sit there and do the late night session on a weekday. But listen, well done to you guys.
Cheers.
And come on, you Spurs, man.
Come on, you Spurs. Cheers, Josh.
Spurs. Thanks, Josh.
Cheers, Josh. Another one that comes into the studio and helps out as well.
Yeah, lovely lad,
I think, you know, with the Kane thing, I think people. I mean, I'll just try and be objective about it. If you have a series of bad games, I'll call it out. I won't sugarcoat it. If he has a good game, I'll call it. It's not like I've got an agenda against him or anything. I thought today he was effective today because he was coming back and pulling the strings.
We just expect so much from him, though. Not in a bad way. I just think
sometimes if he does have a bad game, people won't say anything because it's Harry Kane. I don't like that. But if he has a good game, call it. You know, I thought.
But do you think he had a bad game today? That's the thing.
I would say it's one of those where there were times when he got on the ball and he was like these De Bruyne-esque passes that opened up Brentford. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are other times we're watching it, we're going, God, he looks like moon boots, doesn't he? You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna. That's how I saw it. But I can understand the unsung hero claim for him today as well.
Definitely.
Because some of the passes, it's nice to see it. That's what he was like at the beginning of last season, wasn't it? And Josh said he was at the hub, and then you've got like the spokes, let's say, of Son, or like the runners.
I could see us buying another striker and him dropping into the hole and it being deadly. Like 3 players that can finish, him orchestrating that, and then him coming deeper won't affect us up top as much because he's already a little bit deeper. Do you know what I mean?
I like him playing a bit deeper personally. Hopefully Conte starts seeing that as well.
Yeah, not too deep, not actually in midfield, but just behind the strikers. Definitely. Was that the last one?
I think that was the last one, was it? Oh, that was the last one. Well, we did it.
Brilliant.
We got through it.
Yeah. So I was just getting a bit tired there.
Yeah. That's it. 2-0. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-0. Good performance. Really happy with that.
Good performance. Solid. Yeah.
I think I was man of the match and you were unsung hero. No, Vinny's unsung hero.
VAR?
Yeah.
Did you say?
No, Vinny, I said.
Oh, Vinny, yeah. Hero. So, unsung hero is Vinny in the corner.
Yeah.
So he's done good work, and we brought that pub down in the end. If you watched the stream back earlier on. So thanks to the chat section, the Yid Army there for getting some justice for me. No, 2-0. I'm happy with that. We're looking up the table now.
Yeah. Game in hand.
We haven't really even hit like 5th gear yet, and we're still like creeping up, which is nice.
How many games have been played now? Is it 17?
I've got it right here for you. We have played 13 games.
Only 13. Okay, so we've still got a bit of time to gain a bit of momentum if we can, you know, carry on this sort of form.
So we'll have, if we beat Norwich, we'll have 14 games played, 25 points.
Which isn't great, but the rest of the league isn't amazing.
Normally top 4 is when you get like average 2 points a game.
Yeah.
That's what you've got. That's the benchmark. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of catching up to do, but you know, things are looking good at the moment. Josh, thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Good laugh as always.
Thanks for having me.
And we've got to go and face the cold outside now. Yeah. But thanks to everyone. Thanks to Vinny. Thanks to Josh. Thanks for all your comments, and we'll see you on the next show.